Our top focus at this hour. Tokyo is hosting one of the most important foreign policy summits of the year in the Indo-Pacific region. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Japan for the quadrilateral security dialogue. Ahead of the Quad summit on Tuesday, the Indian Prime Minister arrived at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, where he was received by the Indian diaspora. On arrival, the Prime Minister also interacted with the community, where not just Indian, but the Japanese also gathered to welcome the Indian leader.
Wow.
May I have your signature? May I have your signature, please?
तो कहाँ से सीख लिया तुमने हिंदी? हैं?
Yes, I learned.
हैं? बहुत अच्छा जानते हो?
On the first day of his two-day Tokyo visit, Prime Minister Modi will be meeting with business community in Tokyo hours from now. Later, the Indian Prime Minister will attend the launch of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework by US President Joe Biden. There will be a business roundtable after the launch. Prime Minister Modi will later attend diplomatic and community interactions. While on the second day of the visit, the leaders of Japan, India, Australia and the United States will meet for the Quad summit. The leaders will exchange views about developments in the Indo-Pacific region and also review the progress of Quad initiatives. The Quad members will have discussions on economic and security interests that span the Pacific and Indian Oceans, while new areas of cooperation will also be identified. The latest Quad meeting comes as Beijing is gaining a foothold in the Pacific region with its Solomon Islands Security Pact. The Quad grouping is united by its desire for a counterweight to China's expanding economic, military and technological influence. However, the member nations are divided on Ukraine despite differences over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The leaders of Japan, India, Australia and the United States are seeking common grounds on countering China. On the sidelines of the summit, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hold bilateral meetings with US President Joe Biden, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and his Australian counterpart in the meeting. Meanwhile, in the meeting with US President Joe Biden, the leaders are expected to review the India-US strategic partnership. And now let's listen into WION's managing editor, Palki Sharma Upadhyay, who is in Tokyo to get us the on-ground updates from the summit.
It's Monday morning in Tokyo and the Japanese capital is all set for an action-packed day. The Indian delegation landed around 8 a.m. local time, and I'm sure it was a welcome relief for them in terms of weather, at least. From the heat of Delhi, they've come to a city where the weather forecast for the day is anywhere between 25 to 15 degrees. So pleasant and sunny. And of course, the Prime Minister got a very warm welcome at the airport with the Indian community there. There are about 40,000 odd Indians who live in Japan. Most of them are in Tokyo, at least half of them are in Tokyo. And they accorded a warm welcome to him. Later in the day, there'll be a community event in Tokyo, in the heart of the capital. And in the nation's biggest selling newspaper, this is the Japan Times. I have today's copy with me. And 2 full pages dedicated to the Indian Prime Minister's special visit. This is what it says here, Indian Prime Minister's visit special. And this is a full write-up by the Indian Ambassador to Japan, Sanjay Kumar Verma. And there are some ads welcoming the Prime Minister. Mr. Verma, of course, recounting of how this relationship has gone from strength to strength. And then we have a write-up by Mr. Hira. He's the chairman of the India Commerce and Industry Association Japan, and he has spoken about Prime Minister Modi's method. The Prime Minister himself has also penned a write-up in a local newspaper, and I have a soft copy with me, and he basically talks about his relationship with Japan when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, how he found the Japanese to be very committed to the cause of development and how he built that relationship. And then he goes on to talk about the Indo-Pacific, about the Quad. And he says, and I'm quoting here, the two democracies, they're strategically located in the Indo-Pacific region, and can be important pillars of a stable and secure region. So the messaging is all there in the right direction. He's going to be meeting a lot of business leaders today because Japanese investment into India remains one of the top priorities of this government, and this has been the bedrock of the relationship. They had the same discussion in the month of March when the Japanese Prime Minister visited New Delhi, and now here in Tokyo. So multiple engagements lined up through the day, and this is going to be a very exciting, like I said, action-packed day, and we'll be bringing you all the very latest from the Japanese capital.